record. Okay, so we're now being recorded, and they can't see your faces right now. They only see the person talking. But when you do ask questions, they'll be able to see your face. But I'm just going to put this on YouTube in a private channel so that only those of us with the link can see it. Okay, so let's start talking about this practicum. It's designed with a constructivist learning framework. And so what that means is that this is the time in your program where you assume ownership over your learning. And you do that by constructing new knowledge. You're going to be building on your prior experience. So anytime that you've ever been in a school library or worked with a school librarian, you're going to be reflecting on previous coursework. So all of the classes that you've taken so far in this program and any other educational programs, literacy programs, anything else that you've learned about student learning and understanding. You're going to construct your knowledge by interacting with these course materials that we have, and some of the, it's more than course materials, it's more that you'll be completing some assignments. You'll be learning from one another. You'll be able to share ideas with each other. You'll especially be learning through your mentor and developing skills as instructional partners through some of these collaborative projects at your schools or at the mentoring schools that you'll be working with. So I expect that you will all be actively involved in making meaning within this course. This isn't just like some of the other courses that you've taken. As you can see already based on the Moodle, we don't have a weekly discussion post. We don't have weekly reading assignments. This is all about you sort of bringing everything together that you've learned, all the people that you know, and all of your experience, and putting it towards this experience, this final culminating capstone of your learning for this school library certification. Some of the projects, as you'll see when we tour through the course Moodle, have detailed rubrics included that you can reference as you complete each part of the course. But this class is essentially pass-fail, and nobody in this class is going to fail. You could fail, the only way you could fail is by not handing anything in and not responding to emails from me. So if you do those two things, you could definitely fail. So make sure that you're checking your email and the course Moodle at least once a week and making sure that there's nothing going on. I feel like it's important that you take what you need from this class, and I'm serious about it. I want you to feel free to adapt things. For instance, one of the assignments during the practicum is a professional development presentation that you'll give. So I don't want you to just go and speak at a staff meeting and talk about something because it's an assignment in this class. I want you to figure out, like, what is it that my staff really needs? Or maybe it's just a department or a subset of a department or a professional learning team that you know of that needs some extra information. You can just take those little groups of people, those peers of yours, and you could give that professional development presentation to them. Or you could send out a series of emails to the staff of some professional learning ideas that you have. I want it to be relevant and meaningful for you and for your staff and for your students when we get there. This course is, like I said, different from other courses you've taken in the program. This is specifically for you and about you and your learning. It's not about me giving you feedback on each component of the course, but it's about you reflecting on each component of the course as you go through it. This is your opportunity to pull all of the skills together, all of the tools and tricks that you know, into this final capstone experience for your certification. All right. I guess the big thing that I want to say is that a lot of times students in a practicum like this, students in this library practicum, make the assumption that it's like a teaching internship because maybe they've done that before. And so this is not that. This is definitely you pulling everything together, putting it in that e-portfolio, and just demonstrating that you're ready. You're ready to go be the certified professional librarians that I know you could all be. And this shouldn't be about compliance for you. I'm going to take care of compliance with the state for you, but you're going to take this as an opportunity in which you can learn and be successful. So that's my big thing. And now I want to know what questions you have about what I've said so far before I give you the tour of the Moodle. And so you have to remember, you have to unmute yourself in order to talk. Anybody? All right. I'm seeing some head shakes no. So I'm going to dive right into the Moodle presentation, but feel free to interrupt as I start talking. If you have something, unmute yourself and speak over. I'll be looking at my screen. And so here we go. Share Moodle Spring. Okay. Can you see the spring semester Moodle now? Okay. And you're welcome to follow along with me on your own device, however you want to do it. But these are the announcements. This is those emails that I send out. Course questions. It's so helpful if you have questions to ask them here, because even though you feel like, oh, only I have this question, really everybody has the same question. And it's really helpful for me to work together with everybody at the same time. This is our syllabus that you're welcome to read through. This is a thing called Task Stream that you don't have to worry about. I have it hidden from your view. You just see it because I use it to keep track of data about you. And that's how we report out to the state and to the American Association of School Librarians that you're actually doing the assessments that I say that you do. Everybody did their videos. It was really fun to watch your videos and get to know everybody a little bit better that way. So make sure you check out each other's videos too. There's this calendar and suggested timeline because some people felt like it was important that they have that. I don't mind that, except for the due dates. That feels like an important thing to follow along with. But these are just suggestions as you go through. This is where we're at right now before you start your practicum. All this stuff is due tomorrow. So Google Drive, that is where you are going to drop everything that you do, especially anything that you're going to put in your e-portfolio. Make sure that you drop it into this Google Drive folder, and that will automatically mean that it's shared with me, and I'll be able to see your e-portfolio in its entirety. A lot of times people build their portfolios, but everything's in their like secret private Google Drive that nobody can see. And so I just get all these like request access messages instead of I won't be able to see your things unless you drop it all in there with me. You don't have to notify me every time you add something new to it. It just automatically gets shared with me when you put something in there. This is the placement confirmation form. I think I have everybody in here's. I think just Tammy, I don't have your confirmation form. And you can let me know if I really should have it. It's just in an old email or something. There's these 3 mentor questions to answer by January 15th. A few of you have not done this yet. Somebody else is here. So a couple of you haven't done that yet. So just go through and answer. It won't let me take the test, but it's just questions about your mentor. So just answer a couple of questions. What's your mentor's name? And what school are you working at?
If we click on that view all responses, that will show us where the questions are?
Yeah, you don't have to. When you do it, you're a student, so you do have permission to take this. So you'll just click on this, step 3, mentor questions, and it will open up the questions.
Okay, because I feel like I haven't been able to find them.
The questions?
Yeah, when I've clicked on that, it just says mentor questions, but nothing's in there. Am I the only one?
I don't know. It looks like everybody else has mastered it. I can view all responses, and I can see everybody else's responses.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see it. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Go back. All right. So those were the 3 things that were essentially due tomorrow, that are due tomorrow. So no pressure or anything, right? You all should have at least once met with your mentor at the beginning of the semester and reviewed that evaluation form with them and talked about strengths, weaknesses, any goals that you have specifically. What are the areas that you feel super confident in, and what are the areas you want to work more on? So make sure you talk to your mentor about that. And I don't need to check anything off. You just need to, you can view the practicum evaluation form, and you can make a copy of the practicum evaluation form. You're going to want to send that link, make a copy, to your mentor if you want your mentor to be able to type right on that form, or else you'll make a copy of it and share it with your mentor.
So for this January 15th assignment, for the evaluation form, are we supposed to, are you saying we don't have to submit anything specifically?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Just make sure that everybody's sort of checked in with their mentors and that you've reviewed that evaluation form. So you're not surprised at the midterm when you go to evaluate yourself and you realize, oh my gosh, there's all these things I never told my mentor that I don't know how to do. So that's the evaluation form. You will, on March 1st, you'll do a little midterm evaluation where you will go through and evaluate yourself and make some decisions about how to move forward. And then by May 1st, your mentor will fill out that evaluation form. Sometimes the candidate, you, and your mentor will work on it together. So you may be documenting things as you go through. You can try that. You can add a column to it if you want to. You can add comments, notes, links, however you want to take care of this. It's customizable for you. The next section is about your petition for certification or your petition for completing your master's. I don't think anybody in this group is completing their master's right now. Like this is their final course to their master's. I don't think so when I look at your faces. But you will want to click on this petition for completing your certification, fill that out, and submit it to, let's see who you submit it to. You submit it to psu-degreeinfo at plymouth.edu. Down at the bottom, it says that. But yeah, you don't have to do, I anticipate completing my requirements by May 12th, and you'll be done. So
I actually completed my master's on this.
I can sort of hear you. Is somebody talking?
Yeah, I am completing my master's, and that completing your master's link wasn't working for me.
It's not?
Yeah, I didn't come up with that for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Huh. Weird. Let me see. Whoops. Heather Burkham. Here, Heather, I'm just emailing the link to you right now. See if that works.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And Heather, you'll want to, like, will you walk at graduation?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I'll be there. I'll be there, like, cheering you on. You may be the only library person walking. No, I think there's one other walking who graduated in the fall.
Cool.
So, yeah, it would be really fun to have you there. Yeah. We also, in our department in educational leadership, that's the department that you guys all take part in, the week before graduation in May, we have a dinner where we recognize each person and you get pinned as being a master's candidate. So you'll get a lovely little pin that you can put on your graduation hood. So it's a fun thing. And at graduation in the state, they separated graduate and undergraduate. So graduate, we have our own graduation, champagne and chocolate reception. So it's a real fun experience. It's not like beach balls and beer and things like that. It's a fun, nice graduation. Okay. And praxis. So I included all the information about having your praxis waived. If you're going to have your praxis waived, there is no library praxis for New Hampshire or Vermont. Elizabeth, are you all set with your praxis?
I'm in Massachusetts, and when I read through this, I didn't know what praxis was, so I don't.
I think you just have to take it.
I don't have to take a test.
Yeah.
I already have my certification in elementary ed.
Right.
So this is like an additional certificate.
Yeah.
So I think I'll just be submitting my certification, do you think?
Yes, I think so. So same with Chris too.
Okay.
Because Chris is also in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. That's petition and praxis. So that February 1st due date, like most people don't have anything to do by February 1st. But here we go on March 1st. You have something to do. And it's this collaborative handbook. And so this handbook was an assignment developed to help you once you finish the program. And so what we do is your first job is you vote on what section of the handbook you want to work on. You can vote anytime. Get in there and vote right now. You choose 3 sections that you'd like to work on. And I will close that probably at the beginning of February, and then you'll start working on this handbook. And all you're going to do is, let's see, new share. Can you guys see this school library handbook? Okay. So this is a Google Doc that you will all have access to. You're all going to request access to it. You're going to add your names here. You're going to choose a section to work on. And then you are going to start adding some resources. And so these are resources from some of your other classes that you've taken, because your Moodles go away after you graduate from Plymouth and you haven't taken a class in, I think, 3 semesters. Your access to Moodle will go away. So this is your opportunity to start copying some of those important articles and courses that you refer to your past Moodle courses for access to. So that's what this opportunity is. Put the AASL standards in, and you are going to add resources. Here, I started adding some under collections. I did things like a book challenge form, collection development policy, ALA's Office of Intellectual Freedom, some contact information for how to recycle books. Here's a reference about collections and how Fountas and Pinnell say librarians should guide readers by interest, not by level. So lots of different information there. So you'll just be adding to that collaboratively. And with all of us, with all 10 of you working on that and me, we'll make sure that it looks great. And at the very end of that, you'll make a copy of it and you can take it off with you. Have this resource that you can use forever in your library programs. That'll be your own personalized handbook. Okay. How about now? Are you back on the Moodle? Or does it still say School Library Handbook? Let's see. There.
I see Moodle.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that's the collaborative handbook. We'll talk about it more as it...
Stop. Oh, you said in meeting.
All right, by March 15th, you should have completed your student learning project. So this is one of the big ones. This is a big thing that the American Association of School Librarians collect. The state collects this. They want to see that our school librarians coming from Plymouth, that they know how to plan a lesson with goals and objectives, that they know how to administer a pre-assessment, so measure what it is that students know before they deliver a lesson, that we all know how to deliver lessons, administer a post-assessment, so what did everybody learn based on that lesson that I just gave, and that you know how to analyze the results and reflect on that analysis. What will I change for next time? So there are templates you can use. There's a submission point where you'll hand in your project. You can look at samples. You can read a blog post about them. There's a rubric, a very detailed rubric. And this is also the place where you will hand in a video of yourself teaching. And it's here in the student learning project and video tab, but it does not have to be you teaching that lesson. It just is you talking to students. Students do not have to be part of that video. This is you. So you could put the camera right in your face and talk to it so that no students are involved in the video. And the video only has to be about 5 minutes long. So you could be reading to them. We just want a verification that you work with children in schools.
Okay.
Do you have questions about that? Sometimes people get really freaked out about this one thing. One thing that Cynthia had asked this earlier today, do you have to teach this with your mentor teacher in the room? Do you have to teach it at your mentor school, or could you teach it at your school? And the real answer is that it's up to you and your mentor, how you want to take care of that. If you really want your mentor's feedback on your teaching, then yeah, try to do it with your mentor in the room. If you're an experienced teacher, you don't need people's feedback. You could probably give all of us feedback on teaching. So keep that in mind. You do what's best for you as an individual and work with your mentor on how that's going to work best for you.
So the project is all based around a lesson, or can it be something you're trying to implement within the library?
It can. It could be something, but you do have to, yeah, I mean, like, what's your example? Do you have an example?
We're going to try to start, have you heard of the Project Lit book clubs?
Yes.
Jared Amato. So we have some commuting students in our building. They come from Boston and they never get an opportunity to be part of a book club or any kind of club. So we're trying to get that started. But I guess you couldn't really do a pre and post assessment of those. So do you really want something that can be measured that way, like what kids know beforehand and what they know afterwards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what's important to the state and to AASL.
Okay. So that's kind of, okay. I get.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be a super complex topic.
Yeah.
I've encouraged people to make it that it's how kids find books in the library, or how a student finds an article in a library database.
Okay.
And so you can watch them do it, then you deliver the lesson, and then you watch them do it again, and you're like, whoa. And your pre-assessments can be post-it note question, exit ticket style.
Okay.
Yep, and same with post-assessment. It doesn't have to be that they wrote a research paper or anything major.
All right, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just a little, we just want that little analysis of you as an instructor and how you planned, delivered a lesson, and then reflected on that. and said like, oh, this is what I change next time, or I realize now that these guys didn't get it. And luckily, most of us teach our same lesson over and over again, so we have the opportunity to say,
Get it better.
next period, I'm doing it differently. Okay, professional development presentation. This is due by April 5th, unless you have some special thing coming up. Some people are thinking that they're presenting at a conference, or they have some occasion, a Google Summit, something that they're working at, and they want that to be their presentation. So that's fine, but let me know what it is before April 5th.
So do we video record this presentation also?
No, sir. Nope. All you have to do is share the tool that you developed. So it could be a slideshow that you present. It could be a resource of curated websites for a project. It could be, what else? An online tutorial, like a video tutorial, how to use a certain tool, how to find books on the library shelves for your
So does this involve like speaking with people directly, or is this making a tool or an artifact? Like, do we have to be interacting with people as part of this requirement? Interacting with staff? Just what I'm wondering, just so that I understand that better.
Right. No, that's a good question. It can be a face-to-face. I think the standard way of doing this is that you ask your principal for time to speak at a faculty meeting, and you get up and you share a new tool that you want the rest of the staff to know. Well, we just subscribed to BrainPop, and I want to show you quickly how you can use it with your classes. And then you give your demonstration, and your staff says, thank you, and you walk away. And then you would share with me, I gave this exact presentation at a staff meeting to my staff. I know that they needed this. Like, you'll go through, you'll have these PD goals, what tool did you develop, and then a reflection. You'll include a little analysis of what happened. Maybe people sent you emails after and asked more questions. Maybe people said, thank you, and you skyrocketed on BrainPop. So,
thank you. That's helpful. Thanks.
It could also be a completely online protocol. Some people I noticed recently started doing a lot of their professional development was done more of an online method. So they would do things like send out an email. So every Tuesday was Tech Tuesday tips, and they would send out a series of emails over the course, and then they documented those. So there are the 6 emails that I sent out on the 6 weeks leading up to this.
Oh, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so be creative, like think about what is it that your people need. Your audience can be all these different people. It could be your personal learning community. It could be a department. It could just be a couple of teachers that you meet with before school. However you want to do it, I want it to work for you. This is a place where you can reflect on your learning. So this is a journal. You'll click on it and you'll start or edit your journal entry. And so it's just this journal that goes on, and you save it. And I think the most useful thing for this is every time when you set up things like goals, when you deliver that student learning project and that professional development project, I would add a little entry into here and sort of reflect on what happened during that project, and have some notes, because at the end of the class, or here on May 1st, on May 1st, you're going to have this reflective essay due. And so it's just a 5-paragraph essay. It's very easy to write, but the reflective essay rubric says that you've reflected on these experiences at multiple levels. So you've talked about your experience at elementary and a secondary level, how the libraries are organized, how based on like different learning communities. You have to follow API guidelines. Your language is normal, graduate level writing. But you reflected, these are the important things, you reflected on the overall learning experience of the practicum, and you outlined how skills, knowledge, collaboration are deepening in order for you to grow as a librarian. So this is kind of like your final essay on being a librarian in this whole project. And so I just provide you this place that you can write it. I feel like it's an easy place that you can keep notes. I'm not going to look at it until May 1st. So you can start taking notes there, and then you'll practically have it written by the time May 1st rolls around. Oops. This is your log of hours. I would keep this, make a copy of the practicum log of hours and save it to your Google Drive, and then start documenting how you're keeping track of your hours. And most people in the practicum focus on this. Like they think this is sort of the central keystone to their practicum, that they demonstrated that they did the 120 hours. But I just want to tell you that you're all going to do way more than 120 hours. Like, I'm not worried about how many hours you're going to do. You're all working with students on literacy and technology and information all the time at your schools. But keeping this log of hours will sort of help you keep track and make sure that you are attending to multiple levels, that you're not just doing your level, but that you're doing some outside levels. I wrote this blog post about creating a rich field experience, where really that blog post is there so that you can understand what a variety of activity you can include in this practicum. It's not just you sitting there watching another librarian do their librarying, but it's reading books at different levels, it's meeting with different groups of teachers, it's attending workshops on any kind of student learning, new technology, a Google Summit, an Ed Camp. So I trust you. You don't have to then verify that once you've documented the hours, I believe that you attended to those hours. Like, I don't need any verification that you actually attended these events. And your final thing that's due on May 10th is your ePortfolio. And make sure that you've been working on that all along. It's a tool then that you can use beyond this class, that you'll be happy that you created it, because you're going to have this beautiful portfolio of everything that you've done in this class, or at least all of the important projects that you've done in this whole program. So make sure that you've done that. I made a really simple template just using HyperDocs. If you don't want a fancy ePortfolio using Google Sites or something, so you're welcome to use any of these templates that I put here, or take those people's samples and read through the ePortfolio description and rubric. And I included artifact suggestions by class if you're stuck, you don't know what to put in your portfolio. Okay, now seriously, you have to have questions.
So actually, my portfolio is in Mahara because that's what it started out at.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Keep it in Mahara. That's fine if that's what you want to do.
It's easier just to leave it there. So yeah.
Yeah, if that's easier for you, keep it for sure. But I think you're one of the last ones, Heather.
Yeah, I had a question. So what are the different ways of completing the 30-hour requirements? And I know there's 90 at one site and then 30 in an alternate site or alternate format. I'm just wondering, what are the different ways of fulfilling those requirements?
So, because is your primary site going to be your school, or is it going to be your mentor's school?
Mentors.
That's going to be your primary site. So you're going to do 90 hours with your mentor. Yeah. Okay. So then I would take those 30 hours and make them visiting schools. So you'll want to visit some middle schools probably. That would be helpful. I would visit schools. I would attend some professional learning activities. So through the Massachusetts School Library Association, the New Hampshire School Library Media Association's conference is in March. So I'll send out information to the whole practicum.
I'm just going to interrupt. The Massachusetts one is, I think, the 29th, which is a Sunday, and then it's like the last Sunday and Monday of March.
Of March, okay.
So if you're in Massachusetts, you can look into that one.
Thanks for letting me know. That's good.
I think it's Massachusetts School Library Association.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Liz. You can read books at other levels and count that. You can attend webinars. So you might see an interesting webinar on a different subject that you can attend.
Great.
Super flexible, super flexible.
Thanks.
What else? I hear a deep breath.
So is the journal, is that like a weekly journal that we're supposed to keep, or?
No, it's up to you. It's totally
Okay.
flexible. You can do it if you want to. Some people, like, reflection is what's important to them. That's how they make meaning in their practice. So if that's helpful for you, then use that for sure.
So there's no defined frequency then of doing that. Okay.
Nope, there's zero. It's just that final 5 paragraphs.
I see.
I have a question.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I met with my mentor this morning, and looking over the standards on the evaluation form that we're both filling out,
Yes.
I'm thinking a couple of them are going to be a challenge for me to show evidence of, but I'm particularly concerned about the administrative.
Yeah.
How can I show evidence?
Let's see. Let's look at those.
I'm looking at section 2, administrative.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So I think what I would include, I would have a meeting with your mentor and review things like the long-range strategic plan that you developed in LM 5010 when you took that course. And so that shows that you collaborated with people, that you made a plan. That's the kind of thing
Okay.
that you did budgeting, you thought about maintenance and resources. You and your mentor are also, like, you're fine to check off unable to evaluate, and then that bumps it to me. And I will evaluate you on what I've seen of your work. And I have access to all of your other courses. So your reference and research course and your lit course, and anything that you've taken at Plymouth, I have access to those Moodles as well.
All right. Sounds good.
It's good to know.
So we use this now at the beginning to go over with our mentor to look to see where our strengths and weaknesses are. This is where we should be starting with our mentors.
Yes.
But we don't have to submit anything formal from it.
No.
Okay.
Nothing until your mentor, the only formal thing that gets submitted is your mentor submits a final version of this evaluation form.
Okay.
Where they sign it at the end.
Okay.
And that's due in May. We have time. I'm trying to build my be quiet and let people process to ask their questions. Go ahead. If anybody has a question, you can keep asking. My hair's a mess, you guys. Can anybody think of anything else? And it's not like this is the last chance you're ever gonna get to talk to me. But as you have questions, try to post them in course questions in the class Moodle. So at the top of the Moodle, post to course questions. I felt like I had a couple more things on my notes. We talked about Google Drive. Oh, I know. Let me know if there's libraries that you'd like to visit, if you have some sort of goals in mind, like you want to see a variety of middle school libraries who have maker spaces or something like that. I don't know that I could provide that for you, but just let me know if you have some goals and I can try to hook you up, match you up with people, especially in New Hampshire and especially in southern New Hampshire. I think, Heather, you probably have maxed out the northern New Hampshire people. Kristen Whitworth at Dover High School has they have a brand new school, and it's interesting to see her library and what she's done with it. At Portsmouth High School, Heather Robb, she just completed this program last semester, but she's done a lot of interesting things in her library. At Londonderry Middle School in Londonderry, New Hampshire, they've done a lot of interesting things. They have 2 full-time librarians. The Conval School District, they have an incredible resources of technology integrators and librarians working together, and they've built an amazing program.
I was just thinking, you mentioned Makerspace. Could you do your project on a Makerspace lesson activity?
Yeah, I feel like that would be fun.
Okay.
So it might be a little more challenging, like what are the learning goals and
Right.
student outcomes that you're looking for?
Okay.
And then what would be your actual lesson part?
Right.
Like what would be your teaching part other than just sort of the facilitation
Yeah, that's
of putting
true.
together those tools or that challenge?
Okay. All right, just throwing around ideas.
I know, it's cool. I love it. I love it. And I guess I just want to end with, I started off with this, but that I don't want this to be about compliance for you, that you're just like, I have to comply to these rules. Like I want it to be flexible so that you guys can learn what it is that you need, because I want it to meet your goals, be useful, be relevant for you. So those are my goals. All right, 1 more minute and we'll sign off, and then you can send any questions on our course questions page.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your help.
Thanks, guys. It was so fun to get to see you sort of face to face. Let me know what you need help with.
Okay.
Okay. Good night.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Good night. Thank you.